everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the AIME Women's Mortgage Network's Growth Series. I'm Laura Brandao, the president of AFR, and today I am joined by the lovely Tashara Turpin. She is the broker owner of Infinity Home Loans. First off, thank you so much for being with us today. I am looking forward to hearing all of your insights on being a woman broker owner. Okay, Tashara. To start off, I really want to know, what are the benefits of being a woman mortgage broker? You know, I can remember a few years ago standing in front of the AIME Women's Group, and I remember saying, all of the women have an advantage over the guys. Don't tell them. Well, Tashara, please share with us, what advantages do you feel that we have?
Well, I'm going to talk about more from a mother aspect, because I am a mother. I'm a single mother, and the advantages I feel that I have from being in this industry is my schedule. That's always been a big thing for me. My kids are all involved in sports and different things, and it was always very important for me, especially because I'm the only parent that they do have, is that I made it to everything. No matter what was going on in my work life, like I had to make sure that I was there for my kids. I wasn't going to let that suffer. And so honestly, this industry I feel is great for women, because it gives us the flexibility to be able to be there for our families when we need to.
I love that. And yes, that is certainly an advantage. Now, what about from the perspective of our personalities, or some of the mother skills, yes, or female skills, or how we approach our clients? What are some of the advantages there?
So I feel as women, we have a basic instinct to be nurturers. And I feel that that's a great trait to have, especially when it comes to first-time home buyers. A lot of people don't know how this works, and they need their hand held through the process. And I feel with, women, it's just natural for us to be nurturing and caring. And so I feel like that really is helpful when it comes to, being more patient with the first-time home buyers, or people that just, are skeptical or on the fence, or just need a little bit more, coaxing into, making a decision or whatever. I feel like, the nurturer in us, is able to be patient and hold their hand and walk them through the process instead of getting upset or frustrated or annoyed or irritated. I feel like we're a little bit more calmer and able to, settle people down and get it done.
I love that. Now, I have two stories that recently happened that I want your opinion on, right? Because absolutely. I think we all learn from listening to other people's stories and then getting some advice, yes, right? So sure. My first story, I was on a call with a woman broker that was new to the industry last week. And this particular person is in the stage of their career, or in their broker shop, that maybe they're about a year in. Okay, so she's really trying to build her database, and she's really trying to grow that network. Now, this particular person was a hairdresser before she came into the mortgage industry. Now, I found that out just by asking questions, but she thought that that was a negative. She felt, I know, Tashara, me and you are on the same page.
I'm all over it.
Me and you were thinking the same
way. That's a book of business right there.
So, Tashara, what would you recommend for someone like that might be coming in?
So she's coming in with a book of business already. Being a hairstylist is a lot like being a loan officer. Like you have to build that client confidentiality and trust, so there's already an established relationship there. I mean, how many of us sit in our hairdresser's chair and just spill the beans? Like we just talk about everything and anything. We're there for a good couple hours. I mean, we end up building a rapport with those people. So she already has established relationships and she doesn't even know it. So she needs to use that book of business, go back, and she needs to let everybody know what she's doing. My old boss, when I first started, told me, he's like, if a family member or a friend goes somewhere else for their loan, that's your fault. And I'm like, why would it be my fault? He's like, well, if you didn't let them know what you're doing, then that's your fault. So it's the same thing with her. She has a book of business already established. If she's not going back there and letting everybody know what she's doing, then she's missing out on a wealth of leads. So that would be my first Yeah, my first
I
thing would be
think
go
that's
back to the
great.
book.
So she should be reaching out to them,
Yes,
letting them
absolutely.
know what's going on in her
Yep.
life and what
Hmm.
she's currently
Yep.
doing. And
Hmm.
what about her social media? Like, what would you recommend if someone's coming from another industry,
Hmm.
right? What do you recommend that they do? Because I'm with you. I think that if you're coming in new as a woman loan officer or mortgage broker, I think you need to spread those connections because again, we bond and we form those close
Right.
relationships, but sometimes we struggle with speaking up for ourselves.
Right.
Like we kind of, sometimes we're like, well, maybe they'll think I'm boasting
Yes.
if I do that. So,
Yes.
what do you recommend they do?
I feel like, so what I did when I first came into the business, I took it more from a standpoint as I'm new. I need help. I need people who are willing to allow me to experiment with them, and I'll take a pay cut just to be able to practice with you. Let me go over my script with you. Let me go over, scenarios with you. Maybe if it's not even a real life thing, whatever, but let me just try to practice. And I got my first client by like, just let me go over it. Give me a scenario. Let me get some estimates for you. Let me just practice sitting down with you and just going over the scenarios with you. And I swear to God, by the time I was done, I mean, they put me through the ringer, but by the time I was done, I got the sale. Like I got it because they knew I was trying hard and they knew that I was learning. And so because I told them that I was learning and I'm new to this, they were patient with me and they allowed me to, make mistakes. They allowed me to correct my mistakes. They were patient with me. So I feel like, if you let people know that you're new and you just want to, practice with them, maybe use them as examples or experiments or whatever, I feel like they're a lot more lenient and patient.
That is such a great recommendation because sometimes we think, well, I don't want them to know that I'm new
Right.
or
Or that they
I'm
have to know everything.
hesitant,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
or that, yeah, I'm supposed to be the expert, which of course you should be the expert. No
Right.
one is saying that you shouldn't be the expert, but when you're starting out, you do need that practice and you certainly want to ask those questions. And that's, obviously we know at the Women's Mortgage Network, we're here to answer those questions and we want to encourage you to have that network
Right.
to
Right.
be able to do that. But you're right. Go to those people that you have those relationships with, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's prior clients, and tell them, hey guys, yes, I'm going to take care of you. If I don't know the answer, I know where to get the
I have
answer.
higher
And
ups that are helping me out. They're overseeing everything. Right. Exactly.
I
Hmm.
love it. Okay, here's the second question. So again, I was speaking to a woman mortgage broker, and she ran into a situation where she owns her own broker shop, and a realtor said to her, "Well, I want to speak to your boss, or I want
That's
to
happened to
deal."
me.
That's all right. So tell me, Tashara,
I'm like
how
this.
do
I'm
you
like,
deal with that?
here I am. I just turned my hat around. I'm like, okay, you're speaking to her.
So
No,
you
honestly, what I think that I've heard other women, and I felt this way myself too. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm bragging by saying like, well, I'm the owner. And I've actually had that happen to me before, where a realtor was just like, I want to speak to your supervisor. The appraisal's not coming out fast enough, and I just said, well, I am the owner of the company, and I kind of felt like they were offended by that. Like if I was being boastful or like, I don't know. I guess boastful is the proper word. And so I've learned that, when people ask me like, well, can I speak to a manager or whatever? I just say, humbly, which is, I think, the key word. I try to be humble. Well, I am the owner and I do care about, any questions or concerns. So how can I help you? I take it more as, like I'm serving. I'm a servant. I'm serving you. So how can I serve you?
Absolutely. And I think that's a great approach because I mean, we've heard it, right? I mean, you've witnessed it, you've
Yes.
experienced it, I've experienced it. And you want to show that confidence,
Right.
go in a way of obviously you're going to serve them, you're going to be the leader, you're going
Right.
to have that confidence to show them that you're there to take care of whatever that situation is to
Exactly.
get them through
And
it.
that's all they want. Honestly,
That's
that's
it.
all they want.
They just want to know that they have someone of authority that can get them that answer or
Right.
give them the guidance that they need. Okay. So Tashara, obviously we're so proud of the Women's Mortgage Network and the
Yes.
growth of seeing so many women coming into our industry and watching this growth. How do we continue to encourage more women to come in as loan officers, to open up their own shops, to be able to continue to go on whatever path that they want to go on? How do we continue to encourage them? And what do you recommend we all do to make sure that that continues to happen?
Well, I feel like, the Women's Mortgage Network is amazing. Like, for anybody who's new, they should be in that group. Like, the wealth of knowledge is just, it's like no other. Like, honestly, I've been a broker since 2004. I've been doing this business for a long time. But I mean, I feel like once I found this group, it really upped my game, because I felt embarrassed to ask questions. I felt embarrassed to like not know things, because I'm a broker. I'm expected to know everything. So I felt embarrassed to ask questions, because I didn't want to look stupid, and I didn't want to look like I was not, a professional. But this group of women, you could ask anything, and you'll have hundreds of people reaching out to you trying to answer your questions. And if you don't feel like your questions are answered, I mean, you look in your inbox, you'll have people messaging you in your inbox trying to help you out. Like, this women are just amazing. They want to help everybody. And I think, the best way to get other women involved in our industry is to talk to people about it. I post all the time, like, if anybody's looking for a flexible schedule, I'm always trying to get women to come in and just dabble in it a little bit to see if it's for them. I think we should be reaching out to more people to see if they can make the transition over.
Yeah, that's such a really good point, because we've made huge strides and we'll continue to make huge strides, yes. But it is still a male-dominated industry, right? Mm-hmm. So even just the fact of putting it out there that this is available and that there's this opportunity, and of course the support and the nurturing of having a group where you can feel comfortable. And you're right. I mean, Tashara, bottom line, what you just said, right? Well, I'm the owner. I should know the answer, right? Or I should know who to go to, or I should know what to do in this situation. We'll give everyone a heads up. You're never going to know all the answers. No. Regardless of your title, regardless of how long you've been in the industry, you're always going to run into unique situations where maybe you're not an expert in that specific thing. The reason why Women's Mortgage Network is so great is that one person may be an expert in one thing, and then they share, and then when they need help, someone else shares, and it's a collaborative situation.
It really is.
And that's what we want to do. Yes. Now, I told you I was going to ask you this question. So guys, behind the scenes, before we started recording today, Tashara had a little bit of a Monday where she walked into her office, and it's 96 degrees in her office right now. And it's woo, but look at how beautiful she looks. Look at how beautiful she looks. So
I'm glowing in sweat.
So I want to ask you, Tashara, because again, as women, I think, listen, we're taking care of our families. We've got the kids, we've got the husbands, we've got the businesses, we've got the dogs, we've got all this happening, right? We're trying to look like we're together here. What recommendation and what do you do when you have a situation where you're like, all right, I'm feeling a little out of control? What do you do? What do you recommend?
I give myself grace. Honestly, I give myself grace. I'm a human being. I don't have it all together. Even though I try to make it look like I have it all together all the time. I just don't, and I give others grace. I don't come down hard on people when they are late or whatever, as long as they're giving you the heads up and they're courteous about it, right? But I mean, I think that's like the main thing is give yourself grace. You're not Wonder Woman. You can't do everything. Things happen all day long. I mean, I left my house in plenty of time to get here, for this recording, and I ran into traffic on the freeway because there was an accident. I had no control over that. There was nothing I could do about it. All I could do was let Laura know, hey, I'm on my way. This is what happened, but I'm getting there as soon as I can. I walk in, my AC broke in the office. My office is 96 degrees in here, but I'm like, okay, I'm pushing through that too. Turn on my little portable fan, and here I am. We just have to get through it, no excuses. Give yourself grace. Don't come down on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Things happen. We're human.
Yeah. And I think that is a lesson that all of us need to recognize.
Especially women, honestly. Yeah,
we do. Because you wake up and you think you have the whole day planned, and then one of your little ones isn't feeling well, or, the babysitter isn't available, or something happens that everything that you thought you had under control is now in chaos.
Right.
Right.
And honestly, when we've talked about this before, before that I would have melted down. I would be like, oh my God, I'm late. I look horrible. I probably look irresponsible. But, I forgave myself, and I'm appreciative of the things that did go right today. I mean, number one, I woke up, I got here, maybe 5 minutes late and stuff, and I got on my call, 10 minutes late, whatever. And my camera wasn't working, but I'm here now. I made it. It's okay. Nobody died. Everybody's okay. And I'm appreciative for that. So instead of concentrating on the negative things that happened that morning, I concentrate on the positive things that happened. So I have to do that for myself. If not, I'll go crazy.
And I think that's another important lesson, Tashara, is that I think as women, not only do we have to give ourselves grace, we have to give others grace, whether it's our clients, whether it's our referral partners, or whether it's, whether it's someone we don't even know.
Right.
Because being open to being that way and sharing that, it could make the difference in someone's day.
Exactly.
It could change everything that happens. So it's vital that we remember, as much as we need to give it to ourselves, we also want to share it, because it changes everything.
Exactly right. We have to remember, we're not the only ones going through things. Everybody is.
That is exactly right. All right. So now I know your story of how you came into the industry, right? Because one of our things is, I was going to ask you if you've ever faced adversity. And I don't know your story as to what brought you in. Can you share that? And not only share it, but also what's your recommendation if there's a woman out there that is facing adversity now or has in the past, of how you have handled it?
Okay. So I came into this industry because I was a young mom. I had a 1-year-old, and I was pregnant with my second one. Yes, I did have TV. But as a young mom, I had a good job. I wanted to provide for my family, and I wanted to be able to buy a home for my family. We were in an apartment at the time, and we were outgrowing it, obviously. So we went around to a couple new home developments and tried to, get qualified. And I mean, I'm just going to say it. Back in those days, the majority of the loan officers were older gentlemen. And he took one look at me, and, I'm not an older, Caucasian gentleman. And he flat out told me I wasn't going to qualify. He's like, you can sit down with me. He goes, but it's probably going to be a waste of your time, because you're probably not going to qualify. And whoa, I was just mind blown. I was like, how would he know that? Like, just based on just looking at me, I guess because I was younger, I was a woman, I was by myself, I wasn't there with a significant other. And I just really felt deflated. I felt beat up. Like, I'm never going to be able to obtain that dream of homeownership because I'm a single woman, pregnant, and I didn't know my options. So I went home, and I was, completely deflated. My ego was deflated. I felt like I was never going to be able to do it. And then something just came over me. I was like, you know what? No, he's not going to tell me no. He's not going to tell me what my future for my family is going to be. And that really just fueled my fire. I just started becoming obsessed with mortgages, and I trained myself. I researched and researched and researched, and it just became something that I became passionate about it. And I went from being an escrow coordinator, and I seen a job opening for a mortgage processor, and I was just like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to do that. And so I worked my way up from a processor. I worked from a processor all the way to a loan officer, to a sales manager, to now, the owner of my own company. But it happened because somebody told me no. And I was going to be darned that someone was going to predict my future. No, I write my own story, not somebody else.
So what do you recommend if a woman faces something like that? What do you recommend?
You know what? Listen, we're women for a reason. Women are badasses. I don't care what anybody says. We have superpowers that men just don't have. And we need to remember that. Nobody's better than us, especially a man is not better than us. And no one can write our story. Only we can. If you want something bad enough, you have to fight for it. And I fought for it, and I got it. And you guys can too.
Yes, mic drop. I feel like that's it, Tashara. Because you really are. I mean, I picture you as this young woman, pregnant, with a 1-year-old, right?
Yes.
And all I see is literally Mama Bear. You know, I see Mama Bear, you know, like no one is going to tell me with my kids and my family, no.
Right.
You just tell me what I need to do.
Tell me what to do. That's
and
it.
I will
Right.
follow the rules.
Right.
Maybe it's not today. Maybe I can't do it today. But tell me what I need to do for tomorrow.
Right.
And as long as I know the rules, I can live by that.
That's right.
But the fact that someone judged
no.
you
That's right.
and told you no based on no information, that's not going to work.
No.
And that's the message for all the women out there. What Tashara just said, no one can write your story but you. You have the resources, you have the ability, you have all the tools out there to be able to do this. You write your story. So Tashara, speaking of that, how do you stand out as a woman mortgage originator, broker? How do you stand out? How do you separate yourself to be that person in your local community serving?
I'll be completely honest. I'm very humble. I do a lot of work in my community. I just don't talk about it. I don't brag about it. I don't post about it. But I'm out there. People know that. People know because they see me. I'm out there feeding the homeless on Friday nights. I'm out there holding toy drives. I'm out there. I do a lot, and people know that about me. And so I think it's really, really cool that now I've kind of got the name for myself in the community where that's what I like to do. I mean, I enjoy it. And so when people have things going on, I'm like the first person they call now. And I think that's so cool. Like, I'm really proud of that. You know, people look at me like that I'm willing to help. And I feel like because I'm doing it selflessly, I can't even
selflessly.
Selflessly. There you go. Thank you, Laura. And I'm humble about it, you know, and I don't brag about it. I feel it attracts people to me. So I don't even really have to do much. You know, people come to me with things. And so I think that, you know, by being out in the community like that and genuinely trying to help people, I think you get paid back 10 times fold.
Well, I think the key to what you just said is it has to be from the heart.
Absolutely.
It has to be true to who you are and what your connection to that community is, right? Now, it's beautiful that that's your connection. Maybe someone else's connection is to the sports teams, right? Maybe they're passionate about sports and they want to be there on the sports side. Maybe someone wants to be on the arts side, right? They want to help the musicals and the art side. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever that is within your community, be that person. Like
and you hit it. Yes, you hit it right on the head too, Laura. You just be passionate about something. Just be passionate about something. Because if you're not passionate about anything, like really, who are you? You know, who are you? You're just a person in a body, you know, going through life on a remote control or something. Be passionate.
Yes. And like you said, people will be drawn to you because they feel your passion.
And they love passion. And they can
That's
tell
exactly
fake,
right.
They can tell fake from true.
That is true. All right, Tashara, you are amazing. You are a superstar. We love, love, love hearing from you. What's that one final piece of advice to the women out there that you want to leave them with?
I say that we're unstoppable. We can do anything we put our minds to. I feel like whatever level that you're at, if you're not learning something, then you're dead. So I feel like you should, and you know, if you're a newbie, if you're experienced, if you're, you know, a veteran in this industry, if you're not constantly updating yourself and learning, and you're not having to ask questions, then I feel like you're stagnant in your business.
I love that. And you know, I heard something this morning. I was listening to a podcast, and the gentleman said, if you're the most interesting or successful person in the room, you better go find another room. So
you're not challenged. That's right.
That you're not challenged. So I thought about that, and I'm like, so you're right, Tashara. We have to continue to challenge ourselves, continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to network and connect and lift each other up, because you are 100% right. We are unstoppable. Thank you so much for your insights. You are amazing. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of AIME Women's Growth Series. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.